Welcome to my channel, Crochet for Baby. Thanks for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this little dress for baby girls between 12 and 18 months old. Now, you can also make it smaller or bigger. Down here in the information box, I'm going to leave some information on how you can make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. I will also leave the link to the diaper cover, to baby hats and booties already in my channel so that you can complete this little set. I will also leave the link to my Etsy shop if you prefer a written pattern. Okay, let's get started, but don't forget, all of my tutorials are always in English and in Spanish. Don't forget to subscribe, share my tutorials, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using this 5mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this Stylecraft Special Aran yarn. You can also use any number 4 yarn or 10 ply. Here, to begin, I have a total of 41 chains. This chain here is measuring about 26 centimeters, which is about 10.25 inches. Now, if your chain is off by 1 or 2 centimeters, it's okay, just continue. So here, to continue, into the third chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to make a double crochet. These 2 chains here at the beginning do not count as a stitch. Now in total, I'm going to make 5 double crochets. So into the next chain, make a double crochet. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Now chain 1. Into the next 9 chains, make 1 double crochet on each one. This is going to be for the sleeves, and here where we did the chain, we just created the first corner. So here I'm just going to continue and make these 9 double crochets for the sleeve. Let's see, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double crochets, chain 1. Now into the next 11 chains, make 1 double crochet. This here is the second corner, so continue and make these 11 double crochets. So continue and make these 11 double crochets, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making these 11 double crochets. This here is for the back side. Now chain 1, and into the next 9 chains we're going to make a double crochet. This chain space here is the third corner. That's 1 double crochet into the next. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now chain 1, and into the next chain, make a double crochet. This chain space here is the fourth corner. Now I'm going to finish here by making these last 5 double crochets. That's 3, 4, 5. And here's the first row. Now we have divided the sleeves, the front panels, the back side, and the other sleeve. For each one of the front panels, you should have 5 double crochets. For each one of the sleeves, you should have 9 double crochets. And for the back side, you should have 11 double crochets. So at the end of this first row, you should have 39 double crochets. Now for the second row, we're going to chain 2 and turn. These 2 chains never count as a stitch. They're just there so that when we finish the yoke, there's a nice straight line here. Now, before we continue, I recommend that you put a stitch marker inside each one of the chain 1 spaces. If you like, it might be easier to do the next couple rows. So here, to begin, on top of the first double crochet, I'm going to make a double crochet and 1 double crochet on each one of these double crochets until I come to the first corner. So far I have 3 double crochets. That's 4 and 5. Now inside this first corner, you're going to make a fan. Each one of the fans is going to consist of 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. And now we're going to continue for the sleeves and make 1 double crochet on top of each one. So beginning on top of this first double crochet for the sleeve, make a double crochet, then continue and make 1 double crochet on top of each one. Let's see, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double crochets. Inside this next corner, make your fan. 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. And this is all we're going to do for the rest of this second row. Now continue and do the same thing inside each one of these 2 corners, and then finish this second row. I will meet you at the end of this second row to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this second row. At the end of this second row, I have 55 double crochets. From here on, we're going to be adding 16 stitches at the end of every row, and you're going to do exactly the same thing I did on the second row from here on. So to start you off, you're going to chain 2 and turn. Remember, the 2 chains never count. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make your first double crochet and continue like this until you come to the first corner. I have 3 double crochets, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets. Here's my first corner. Inside this chain 1 space, you're going to make your fan, and this is what you're going to do on each one of the corners. Here's my fan. Now continue along for the sleeve and work 1 double crochet on each one of the double crochets, and when you come to the next corner, do the same thing I just did here. And that's all we're going to do for the rest of this row. At the end of this third row, you're going to have 71 double crochets. Then you're going to chain 2, turn, and then repeat the same thing. Now from here on, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here for the yoke, but continue watching. I will let you know how many rows I'm going to do, and continue watching. I'm going to go ahead and give you the number of stitches that you're going to have from here on, so that you can have the exact number of stitches at the end of every row from here on. So continue, and I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this 5th row. I need to make 1 more row for the yoke, so I'm going to show you that next. The last row that we did together was the 3rd row. At the end of the 3rd row, you had 71 double crochets. At the end of the 4th row, 87 double crochets. And at the end of this 5th row, I have 103 double crochets. Now for the 6th row, this is what we're going to do. We're going to chain 2 and turn. Now beginning on top of these 2 double crochets into the first and the second, make a double crochet. Now chain 1, skip the next double crochet, and into the next make a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 double crochet, and into the next double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and into the next double crochet, chain 1. And this is all I'm going to do until I come to the first corner. Here's the first corner. Skip this last double crochet for this front panel, and inside this chain 1 space, make a fan. 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. Now to start the next section, chain 1, skip this first double crochet and into the next, make a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and into the next double crochet, chain 1. This is how I'm going to continue until I come to the second corner, so that I can show you once again what you need to do into each one of the corners. Okay, here's the last double crochet, chain 1, and inside this corner make your fan. Now you're going to continue on your own. So here, chain 1, skip this first double crochet and into the next one here, make a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 and into the next double crochet, chain 1. This is how you're going to continue for the rest of this 6th row. Inside each one of the corners, you're going to do the same thing I just did here. You're just going to make a fan. Continue, finish the 6th row, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this 6th row. Here to finish, I have one last double crochet. On top of this last double crochet, make a double crochet. Now, at the end of this 6th row, I have 67 double crochets, and the yoke is done. That's what it looks like. Now, this part here right across, it's measuring about 10 centimeters, which is about 4 inches. So the yoke is done. I also went ahead and changed color here. I'm going to continue with this raspberry red color. So here to continue in the next row, row 1, we're going to divide the sleeves. So to do this, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Now, beginning on top of the first double crochet here, make a double crochet. On top of the next, a double crochet, and into the chain 1 space here, make a double crochet. I'm going to continue like this until I come to the first corner. So here I have 4 double crochets. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 double crochets. Now inside this first corner, make 3 double crochets. So here for this front panel, I have 18 double crochets. So it's 15, 16, 17, 18 double crochets. Now to divide the sleeve, we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip these double crochets here. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And inside this second corner, we're going to make 3 double crochets. Now we're going to continue and work 1 double crochet for each one of these double crochets, and inside the chain 1 space we're also going to make double crochets. Continue here, and I'll meet you right here to show you how we're going to divide the second sleeve. Okay, I finished making these double crochets. From here to here, I have 34 double crochets. Now inside this third corner, we're going to make 3 double crochets. Now chain 2, skip 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 double crochets, and inside the fourth corner here, make 3 double crochets. And this is how we're going to divide the second sleeve. Now continue for this first row, and I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row. This is where we divided the sleeves. I have a total of 73 double crochets. Each one of the front panels has 18 double crochets, and for the back side there's 37 double crochets. So that's a total of 73 double crochets. Now to finish this last row here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to join to the first double crochet with a slip stitch, and from now on we're going to be working in the round, the skirt of the dress. So here for the second row, I'm going to chain 1, and into this same stitch here I'm going to make a double crochet on top of the next, and so on. 1 double crochet on each one of these double crochets until I come here to where we have these 2 chains. I will meet you right here to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making these 18 double crochets. Right here under the sleeve we have these 2 chains. Here under the sleeve we're going to make 4 double crochets, and you're going to do exactly the same thing under the second sleeve. Just make 4 double crochets. Now we're going to continue along and work these 37 double crochets for the front. When you get here under the second sleeve, same thing. You're going to make 4 double crochets and then continue along and finish making these last 18 double crochets. I will meet you at the end of this second row. I'm here at the end of this second row. I have 81 double crochets. Now here at the end, I'm going to make 1 more double crochet. So into this last double crochet here, make another double crochet. So that here I have 2 double crochets on top of this last double crochet. And now I have 82 double crochets at the end of this second row. Now to finish this row, join to the first double crochet with a slip stitch. Now for the third row, chain 1 and into this same stitch where we join, make a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 double crochet and into the next double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 double crochet and into the next double crochet, chain 1, and this is all I'm going to do all around for this third row. Continue and I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this third row. This is where I did double crochet, chain 1, and I have a total of 41 double crochets. Here at the end I have 1 double crochet, chain 1. I'm going to skip this last double crochet and I'm going to join to the first double crochet with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish this third row. Now for the fourth row, we're going to turn. From here on, we're going to work this pattern from the inside out. So make sure that you turn. This here is the right side of the baby dress. That's what it looks like. So here's the front, here's the back, and here's the inside. So from here on, like I said, we're going to work this pattern from the inside out, so on the wrong side. It's a beautiful stitch and this is how it's done. So beginning into this first space here, insert your hook again in there and make a single crochet. Now into the next chain 1 space, make a shell of 6 double crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now into the next chain 1 space, make a single crochet. Into the next chain 1 space, make 6 double crochets. And this is all we're going to do all around. Here's 2, 4, 5, 6, and then into the next single crochet, into the next shell. Continue like this for this fourth row and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this fourth row. I have a total of 20 shells. Now I have 1 last chain 1 space. I'm going to skip this space and I'm going to go here where I have this first single crochet and I'm going to join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish the fourth row. Now for the fifth row, chain 1 and into this same stitch here, make a double crochet. Now we have the first shell, we have 6 double crochets. We're going to make 3 front post double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 front post double crochets. Now we have this single crochet right on top of this single crochet, make a double crochet, and then again we have the next shell. We have 6 double crochets, make 3 front post double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 front post double crochets. This is all we're going to do for each one of the shells. 3 front post double crochets, 2 chains, 3 front post double crochets, and then on top of the single crochet make a double crochet, and then repeat the same thing for the next shell. And this is what it looks like on the inside, and on the right side, look how beautiful these shells are. Absolutely beautiful. Continue like this and I'll meet you at the end of this 5th row. I'm here at the end of this 5th row. This is where we did front post double crochets. Here at the end to finish, we're going to go on top of this first double crochet and we're going to join with a slip stitch. and here's the 5th row. Now for the 6th row, chain 1, and into this same space here where we join, make a single crochet. Now inside each one of the shells into the chain 2 space, we're going to make shells again. So 6 double crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now into the double crochet that's in the middle of the 2 shells right here, make a single crochet, and inside the next chain 2 space, make 6 double crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On top of the double crochet that separates the shells, so right here, make a single crochet, and then inside the next chain 2 space, make another shell. And this is all we're going to do for the rest of this 6th row. Continue, and I'll meet you here at the end. I'm here at the end of this 6th row. This is where we did the row of shells. Now here at the end, to finish this row, we're always going to go here at the beginning where we have the first single crochet, and we're going to join with a slip stitch. Now from here on, we're going to repeat these 2 rows, row number 5 and row number 6. I just finished showing you the row of shells, so now to start you off, I'm going to show you the row of front post double crochets. So to do this row, you're going to chain 1, and then here into this first stitch, which is the stitch where we join with a slip stitch, make a double crochet. Then we're going to work 3 front post double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, and then 3 front post double crochets. Now on top of the single crochet that we have here in between the 2 shells, you're going to make a double crochet, and then again make 3 front post double crochets for the next shell. Chain 2, and then 3 front post double crochet. That's all you're going to do from here on. Just remember to always make a double crochet in the middle of the 2 shells. So on top of the single crochet, you make your double crochet, and then continue and do the same thing. 3 front post double crochets, 2 chains, 3 front post double crochets. Now to finish this row here at the end, on top of this double crochet, you're going to join with a slip stitch, then you're going to chain 1 and then make a single crochet into this same stitch, and then repeat the row of shells. So each one of the shells is going to go inside the chain 2 space, and then on top of the double crochet here in the middle of these 2 shells, make a single crochet. That's how you're going to continue for the rest here of the skirt of the dress. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so I will meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I finished making the skirt of this little dress. Look how beautiful this stitch looks. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, I did a total of 15 rows. So if I count from here, the first row of shells, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 rows. And then I did 2 rows here in white. So in total, I have, that's 15, 16, 17 rows. Now, let me measure this for you. It's about 14 inches, which is about, let's see, it's about 36 centimeters. Now, if you want to make this longer, you can. I'm just going to leave it like this. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make 1 more row, and this is going to be more of a decorative row, so this is what we're going to do. So my last row here was the row of shells. So let me join here again. Now you can do this all in one color. I just did 2 rows here in white. So to do this next row, we're going to chain, let's see, chain 3, and we're going to go right here. These 6 double crochets, so right in the middle right here, make a single crochet, chain 3, and then single crochet into this same space. Again, chain 3. And right here in the middle, we have this single crochet, make a slip stitch. Now again, chain 3, and in the middle of these 6 double crochets right here, make a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3 again, chain 3 again, and then into this single crochet right in the middle, make a slip stitch. And this is all we're going to do, and that's what it's going to look like. Continue like this all around. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making this last row here at the bottom. To finish, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn and passed my yarn through that last loop, and this row here is done, and that's what it looks like. That's the bottom here of the dress. You can do the whole thing in one color and then make this last row here in white. That would be up to you. You can change it however way you want. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to make one of the sleeves. Now this is going to be the front of the dress and this is the back. So I already went ahead and did the right sleeve. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do the left sleeve. So to do this, we're going to do exactly the same thing on both sides. To start, we're going to go right here into this first chain 1 space. Remember that this stitch is worked from the wrong side out, so make sure that you start here. To do this side, you're going to start here. This is the back side, so you're going to start here into this first chain 1 space here. So here to begin, we're going to go here. We're going to find our first chain 1 space, so it's here on this side. Now insert your hook right there, grab a loop, bring it through the front, chain 1, and into this same space here, make a single crochet. Now into the next chain 1 space here, make a shell. Now each one of these shells for this sleeve is going to consist of 4 double crochets. For the skirt of the dress, we were doing 6 double crochets, but I decided to do 4 double crochets here instead. This is so that the sleeve here is not too wide. I think this here, the size that I have, is perfect. If I make the shells bigger, then the sleeve is going to be bigger, and we don't want that. So here into the next chain 1 space here, after you made your first shell, make a single crochet, and into the next chain 1 space, again, make a shell. Now into the next chain 1 space, make a single crochet, and into the next another shell. And this is how you're going to continue. So shell, single crochet, shell, single crochet, till you come here to the end. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to finish this first row to this sleeve. Okay, I'm here at this other side of the sleeve. Up to here I have 6 shells, and here's my last chain 1 space here for the sleeve. Into this last chain 1 space, I'm going to make a single crochet. Now what I'm going to do here is the following. Into this double crochet right here that we did when we divided the sleeves, we're going to yarn over, insert your hook here where we have this double crochet before we divided the sleeves, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, then we're going to go right here, right under the sleeve where we have these 4 double crochets, right in the middle. So I have 2 and 2 on both sides. Right here, I'm going to make my 7th shell. So make a double crochet and then close through these 3 loops. So what I did here was a double crochet decrease right here, so that there is no gap between this single crochet and this shell here in the center. So that's why I went ahead and did this double crochet decrease. Now here we're going to complete our shell, so make 3 double crochets here. That's 2, 3, and 4. So here's my 7th shell for the sleeve, and then here on this side I have a double crochet decrease. Now I'm going to make 1 more double crochet decrease here, so yarn over, and then here we have this double crochet where we divided the sleeves. Insert your hook, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook, and now we're going to go right here where we have the single crochet, and we're going to join here with a slip stitch, and we're going to close this double crochet decrease with the slip stitch. and that's what it looks like. So for this first row, I have 7 shells. My last one is right here, right in the center, right under the sleeve, and then 6 shells around the sleeve. So there is no right or wrong way of doing this. Just make sure that this part here looks nice and there's no gaps in between the shells. That's why I went ahead and did these double crochet decreases there so that there's no gap. So now for the second row, this is what we're going to do. We're going to chain 1 and into this same stitch here, make a double crochet. Now we have the first shell, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 front post double crochets. Now on top of the single crochets, we're going to make double crochets. So here's my double crochet, and then again I have my second shell, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 front post double crochets. And then on top of the single crochet, make a double crochet. And this is how you're going to continue all around the sleeve. Continue, and I'll meet you right here. This is the last shell. This is shell number 6 to show you how we're going to finish this second row. Okay, I'm here at this other side of the sleeve. This is the second row. I did 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, 2 front post double crochets. Now what I'm going to do next is I have my last shell here, and right before we have that double crochet decrease, so on top of that stitch here, I'm going to make a double crochet. Now I'm going to reduce 1 shell here so that from here on for the sleeve I'm going to continue with 6 shells instead of 7. So here, if you don't want to reduce this shell, if you try this on your little girl and you feel that you don't need to reduce here, then go ahead and work the shell in the same way that we did here. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this shell here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over, and then right in the middle of these 4 double crochets, I'm going to insert my hook, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook, and then I'm going to go right here where I have the first double crochet, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch, and I'm going to close through these 2 loops that I have on the hook. So basically all I'm doing is a double crochet decrease here, and this is how I reduce 1 shell in this row. So now I have 6 shells, and these are the 6 shells that I'm going to continue for the rest of the sleeve. So for the third row here, we're going to chain 1 and into this same stitch here where I did the slip stitch, make a single crochet, and then I have the first shell here inside the chain 1 space here, make a shell. In this row we're going to make the row of shells and then make single crochets. So here's the shell, and then on top of the double crochet here, make a single crochet, and then we have the next chain 1 space there, make a shell. And that's all I'm going to do all around for this third row. And at the end of this third row, I'm going to have 6 shells. So continue like this, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this third row. I have my last shell here. Now here at the end I have this last double crochet, so on top of this last double crochet I'm going to make a single crochet. To finish this row, I'm just going to go now here to the first single crochet that we did at the beginning of this third row, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this third row with a total of 6 shells. Now for the fourth row, we're going to chain 1 and into this same stitch here, make a double crochet. Now in this row, we have to do the row of front post double crochets. So here we have the first shell. We're going to make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 front post double crochets. Now in the middle of the shells, remember we have a single crochet, so on top of this single crochet in this row we make a double crochet. And then again I have the second shell, make 2 front post double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 front post double crochets, and then a double crochet on top of the single crochet. And this is how we're going to continue for the rest of this 4th row. Continue, and I'll meet you here at the end to show you once again how to finish this row of front post double crochets, and then I'm going to start you off with the next row, which is the row shells, and then you're going to continue on your own and finish the sleeve. I'll meet you at the end of this 4th row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this 4th row. This is where we did front post double crochets. Now to finish here at the end, we have the first double crochet, join with a slip stitch on top of the first double crochet. And this is how you're going to start and finish this row, the row of front post double crochets. And then we're going to do the next row where we do the shells. So here to start you off for the 5th row, chain 1, and into this same stitch here, make a single crochet, and into the chain 1 space of each one of these shells, you're going to make a shell of 4 double crochets. Now, on top of the double crochets that separate the shells, you're going to make a single crochet, and then again inside the next shell into the chain 1 space, make your next shell. And this is all we're going to do. These are the 2 rows that you're going to repeat from here on. So we have our shell, and then on top of the double crochet, make a single crochet. And that's all you're going to do. So continue like this. Here to finish this 5th row, you're just going to go here where we did the first single crochet, join with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then you're going to make a double crochet there, and then repeat this last row that I just showed you. We're going to do this for a total of, I think it's 14 rows. So let's see. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 rows in this color raspberry, and then we're going to do 2 rows in white, and then we're going to finish in the same way that we did here for the bottom of the dress. Continue, finish these 15 rows, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making a total of 15 rows. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. My last row here is the row of shells. And to finish here, all I did was just join to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, pass my yarn through that last loop. Now for row 16 and 17, we're going to use this white yarn. If you're not changing color, then you don't have to cut your yarn. You're just going to make 1 chain here. For me, I'm going to grab a loop here instead. And I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to make a double crochet here. This part is the same if you are continuing with the same color. So here we have the first shell. We're going to work 2 front post double crochets. This row here is exactly the same how we've been working this row, front post double crochets. So chain 1 and then 2 front post double crochets. The next row is where we're going to change something. So continue like this, finish this 16th row, and then I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making this 16th row. Here at the end, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch. And now what we're going to do next is row 17. This is where I'm going to do this row of shells, and each one of the shells is going to consist of 6 double crochets. So to do this next row, row 17, this is what we're going to do. Now, as you know, this pattern consists of working all of the stitches here on the wrong side so that the stitch here is created in that way. If you want to make the shells where they are on the right side, then you're going to chain 1 and turn, and into this space here you're going to make a single crochet, and into this first chain 1 space here, this is where you're going to work your shell, and then single crochet shell, single crochet shell, and like that all around. I happen to like the way that it looks like this on the wrong side because, like I said, I plan to have the sleeve fold like this. So that's how I'm going to show you. So that's an option for you if you want to change it a bit. Okay, so here we're going to chain 1, and then into this same stitch here make a single crochet. Now inside this first chain 1 space, make a shell of 6 double crochets. Now in the middle of the shells, on top of the double crochet, make a single crochet, and then inside the next chain one space, make 6 double crochets. And that's how you're going to continue for this 17th row. So continue, finish this row, and then I'll meet you at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this 17th row. To finish here, I'm just going to join here to the beginning with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish this row of shells. Each one of the shells consists of 6 double crochets. Now for the last row, row 18, we're going to chain 3. Now we have these 6 double crochets in the middle here of these 6 double crochets, so 3 and 3 double crochets on both sides here. Make a single crochet, chain 3, and then single crochet. Chain 3. In the middle of the shells, we have the single crochet here. Make a slip stitch. Chain 3. And then again, in the middle of these 6 double crochets, make a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet into the same space, then chain 3, and in the middle of the shells on top of the single crochet, make a slip stitch. And this is all we're going to do for the rest of this row. Continue, and I'll meet you at the end to show you the finished sleeve. Okay, I finished making the last row here. At the end, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, passed my yarn through this last loop, and the sleeve is all done. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing I did here on this side. You're going to do it here on this side. It's done exactly in the same way, so make sure to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go here to the back side, and right here along the opening in the back, we're going to fix this a little bit so that it looks nicer. Now the buttonholes, you can use the spaces in between the 2 last stitches here as your buttonholes. These little holes here are big enough for a nice little button to go in there. Maybe like a 12mm button is big enough for it to fit through. And then you can add, I don't know, I think I'm going to add 2. One up here, one about here. You can do as many as you want. You can only do 1. That would be up to you. So to do this, we're going to go here on this side. So this is facing me. So I'm going to go here on the right side. And we're going to work our way down and then go up. So to do this, with the same yarn and the same hook, the 5.5mm hook, so to do this with the same hook, the 5mm hook and the same yarn here, we're going to go right here into the first row. This here is the first row of the neckline. So insert your hook right there, grab a loop here. Let me fix this here. Bring it to the front, right there, chain 1, and into this same space here, make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Now into the next row, the second row here of the yoke, make 2 single crochets, that's 4. Into the next row, make 1, 5. Into the next row, make 2, 6 and 7. Into the next row, make 1, that's 8. Into the next row, make 2, 9 and 10, and into this last row here, make 1. So here along this side, I have 11 single crochets. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. The important thing is that it looks nice. So I have 11 single crochets. Now right in the very center here, insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. And now we're going to work our way up this side. So into the row here that follows, make 2 single crochets. Into the next here, make 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 8, 9, and then here 10 and 11. So just make sure that you have 11 single crochets along this side too. And I think that looks pretty good. Yes, I think that looks better than how it was. So I'm going to leave it like this. And remember, as I mentioned, the stitches in between here, the spaces in between here are the buttonholes. So you can probably do one up here and then the other one right here, or maybe here. That would be up to you. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn because I'm going to continue along the neckline. Now what we're going to do is we're going to continue along the neckline, and we have these chains here. These are the chains that we had left when we started the foundation row. So now what we're going to do, now this part here is done. So we have 11 and 11 single crochets and 1 single crochet right in the center. So that's 23 single crochets here. Now we're going to continue along the neckline and we're going to make single crochets. So here I'm just going to make 2 single crochets into this very first chain here. We're going to make the single crochets into these chain spaces that were left when we did the first row. So here into this first one I did 2, and then 1 into the next, then 2, then 1 and 1, and so on. Here we're just going to make 1 single crochet for each one of these chains that we have all around the neckline. And let's see, let me see. So here we're going to go along the neckline now, and we have this first chain here. So into this first chain space right here, make 3 single crochets. This is so that we can turn easily. So make 3 single crochets. Now we're going to go into each one of these remaining chains along the neckline and make 1 single crochet. Now, again, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. The important thing is that this part here looks nice. You may have maybe 1 or 2 stitches more or less than I do. So the important thing is that it looks nice. Now, I think that looks pretty good. It turns easily, so I'm going to leave it like this, and then I'm just going to continue all around the neckline here at the end into this last single crochet. Into this last chain space here, I'm also going to do 3 single crochets, or maybe 2 because I already have 1 here, so we'll see how that works out. Now continue like this all around, and I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making the last row here. At the end, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, passed my yarn through this last loop, and the sleeve is all done. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing I did here on this side. You're going to do it here on this side. It's done exactly in the same way, so make sure to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go here to the back side, and right here along the opening in the back, we're going to fix this a little bit so that it looks nicer. Now the buttonholes, you can use the spaces in between the 2 last stitches here as your buttonholes. These little holes here are big enough for a nice little button to go in there. Maybe like a 12mm button is big enough for it to fit through. And then you can add, I don't know, I think I'm going to add 2. 1 up here, 1 about here. You can do as many as you want. You can only do 1. That would be up to you. So to do this, we're going to go here on this side. So this is facing me. So I'm going to go here on the right side. And we're going to work our way down and then go up. So to do this with the same hook, the 5mm hook and the same yarn here, we're going to go right here into the first row. This here is the first row of the neckline. So insert your hook right there, grab a loop here. Let me fix this here. Bring it to the front, right there, chain 1. And into this same space here, make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Now into the next row, the second row here of the yoke, make 2 single crochets. That's 4. Into the next row, make 1, 5. Into the next row, make 2, 6 and 7. Into the next row, make 1, that's 8. Into the next row, make 2, 9 and 10. And into this last row here, make 1. So here along this side, I have 11 single crochets. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. The important thing is that it looks nice. So I have 11 single crochets. Now right in the very center here, insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. And now we're going to work our way up this side. So into the row here that follows, make 2 single crochets. Into the next here, make 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 8, 9, and then here 10 and 11. So just make sure that you have 11 single crochets along this side too. And I think that looks pretty good. Yes, I think that looks better than how it was. So I'm going to leave it like this. And remember, as I mentioned, the spaces in between here are the buttonholes. So you can probably do one up here and then the other one right here, or maybe here. That would be up to you. So here, we're going to go along the neckline now, and we have this first chain here. So into this first chain space right here, make 3 single crochets. This is so that we can turn easily. So make 3 single crochets. Now we're going to go into each one of these remaining chains along the neckline and make 1 single crochet. Now again, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. The important thing is that this part here looks nice. You may have maybe 1 or 2 stitches more or less than I do. So the important thing is that it looks nice. Now I think that looks pretty good. It turns easily, so I'm going to leave it like this, and then I'm just going to continue all around the neckline. Here at the end into this last chain space here, I'm also going to do 3 single crochets, or maybe 2 because I already have 1 here. So we'll see how that works out. Now continue like this all around, and I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making these single crochets all around the neckline. Here at the end, I did my last 3 single crochets. I have a total of 43 single crochets around the neckline. Now, like I said, there is no right or wrong way of doing this. The important thing is that it looks nice. So if you have maybe a couple stitches less or more, it's okay. Just continue with the next step. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to make here a nice little collar for the little dress. It's optional if you want to leave your dress like this as it is. It's done. All you need to do is just add your buttons here. So to do the collar that I'm going to do, this is where I finished. Now to finish here, all I did was just join to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, pass my yarn through that last loop. Now to start here and make the collar, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and into this third single crochet right there, insert your hook. I'm going to use this white yarn to do the collar. So I'm going to bring this loop here to the front, and I'm using the same hook, the 5mm hook. I'm going to chain 2, and now into this same stitch here, I'm going to make 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Now through the back loop only of the next single crochet, again make 2 double crochets. Into the next single crochet, same thing, 2 double crochets through the back loop. Now so far I have 6 double crochets. I have 2, 4, 6. Now into the next 2 single crochets through the back loop, I'm going to make 1 double crochet on each one. Now into the next stitch here, I'm going to do 2 double crochets. Here we're going to be increasing every third stitch. Again, into the next 2, make 1 double crochet, 1 and 2, and into this next one, make 2 double crochets. Again, into the next 2, make 1 double crochet, and into this next one, make 2. Now I'm going to continue like this. At the end, I want to make sure that I finish with a total of 54 double crochets. So I may need to do some adjustment here towards the end. So make sure that you continue in the same way and count your double crochets so that you end with 54 double crochets. I want to make sure that these double crochets here are in multiples of 3. So that's why we need to count them and make sure that we finish with 54 double crochets. I will tell you where I'm going to do my adjustments so that I can finish with 54 double crochets. So I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I'm here at this other end of the collar. I have exactly 54 double crochets. Now here at the end, what I did was into these last 3 single crochets, I did 2 double crochets on each one. I finished my last sequence here. See, I have 2 double crochets, then 2, 1 and 2, and then I did 2, and then finished here with 2 and 2, so that at the end of this row I have 54 double crochets. So it did work out for me to start in the same way here, making 2 double crochets into these first 3 single crochets, and then I finished in the same way here at the end. Again, the important thing is that you finish with 54 double crochets, which is in multiples of 3. Now for the second row here for the collar, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of this first double crochet, make a single crochet. One thing here, these 2 chains here at the beginning do not count as a stitch. Now what I'm going to do is count 1, 2, 3, and into this space here I'm going to make a shell. Each one of the shells is going to consist of 6 double crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, count 1, 2, 3, and into this space here make a single crochet. Again, 1, 2, 3, and into the next space make 6 double crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count 1, 2, 3, and into the next space single crochet, count 1, 2, 3, and into this next space make a shell. This is how I'm going to continue all around the neckline, just making a shell and then a single crochet, shell, single crochet every 3 double crochets, and that's what it looks like. So continue like this all around, and I'll meet you here at this other end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this second row. I have 9 shells up to here. Here at the end, I'm going to skip these last 3 double crochets, and on top of the last one, I'm going to make a single crochet. Now, for the third row, chain 1 and turn. On top of this first single crochet here, make a single crochet. Now we have the first shell here, we have 6 double crochets. Into each one of these double crochets, I'm going to make a back post half double crochet. Here's the first one, back post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. That's all I'm going to do here. Here's my last double crochet, and here's my last back post half double crochet. Now in the middle of the 2 shells here I have a single crochet, so into this single crochet make a single crochet, and then do the same thing for the next shell. 1 back post half double crochet on each one of the double crochets here. That's all we're going to do for this row all around the neckline. continue. I'll meet you here at this other end to show you the finished neckline. Okay, I finished making this last row. Here at the end, I just joined to the first stitch with a slip stitch, cut my yarn and passed my yarn through that last loop, and then I just hit my ends here on the inside. So the collar is all done. That's what it looks like. It's very pretty. Now here in the back, I went ahead and added my buttons. These buttons here are 13mm buttons, and I went ahead and added 2. And as I mentioned, when we were doing this part here on the back side, the spaces in between these last 2 stitches here can be used as your buttonhole. So I only went ahead and added 2. I think with 2 is more than enough. So this is the back side. That's what it looks like. I went ahead and weaved in this ribbon here, and here's the bottom. So let me show you the front. Here's the front. So like I said, I weaved in this ribbon here, and right in the center, I went ahead and just right here into this stitch, I went ahead and sewed in these little flowers. These flowers are pre-made. I purchased these from the wedding section at Hobby Lobby. So you can do the same thing. Let me show you the bottom here. That's the bottom. I absolutely love this stitch. It's a variation of this stitch here that I showed you. I actually prefer this one here because it's more closed. It's not as open, so it's absolutely beautiful. So let me give you the finished measurement. So from the neckline here to the end of the sleeve, it's measuring about 11 inches, which is about 28 centimeters. From under the sleeve to the end of the sleeve, it's measuring about 6.75 inches, which is about 17 centimeters. Now the length from the top of the shoulder here to the end here of this last row, it's measuring about 15 inches, which is about 38 centimeters. And the waist all around, it's measuring about, let's see, 23 inches, which is about 58.5 centimeters. So based on these measurements, this little dress here is for baby girls between 12 and 18 months. Now you can also make it smaller or bigger, from 6 to 9 months and up to 18 to 24 months. Down here in the information box, I'm going to leave some information on how you can make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. I also went ahead and did a matching diaper cover. Now this diaper cover here, I already have a tutorial. The one that I did in the tutorial is for 3 to 6 months, so all I did was just use a 5.5mm hook so that it comes out slightly bigger for about 12 to 18 months. So down here in the information box, I'll leave the link as well, or I'll try to leave the link up here. Now I also have lots of tutorials for baby hats and baby booties that you can make smaller or bigger, as always. So I'll leave a link in the information box as well of all of the baby booties in my channel and hats, so that you can make a matching hat or matching baby booties. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.